I think there's an element too of it being 3 years that just kind of feels crazy to me because, like, in a lot of ways, it still feels like I'm just still screaming, just trying to be heard and like trying to express the turmoil, the overwhelm, screaming, just begging for like help, to be witnessed, to try to articulate like the support that I needed, trying to like express as carefully as I could that like my situation was unbelievable almost to myself, and so that I could understand why in that state I wasn't believed. And it still really fucks with me, the nature of like who is believed in our society and who is trusted in our culture. And it fucks me up that like you're only able to be heard if you speak like this and you can articulate every period of all of your bullshit, because it means that the people who are going through hell have to suffer alone most of the time. And like I am lucky to be in a point of healing where I can articulate my bullshit, where I can like be angry and be safe, and where I can like do my best to like receive some type of justice for myself. My caseworker just stopped by real quick and dropped something off, and she told me to do something nice for myself, and I'm trying to really think of what that means. And I think what it means for me is making sure that I don't let everything else in my life go to shit just because I feel like shit. And to further articulate this experience for the people who don't have the ability to articulate it for themselves, of like what it was like to be in a situation where the main form of abuse was confusion and neglect, where a few narcissistic actors were able to remove all the support in my life through acts of bad faith, and people moving in ways to hurt me thought they were doing it out of good faith due to the lies, or not even necessarily lies, right? I'm in a position where some of the people who hurt me the most were doing their best. And then there's this like silent, fucked up narcissist who's just living a life abusing more people who don't even realize it, you know? Or at least that's what they claim. Who knows? I pray to God the people who were, orchestrating this, the people who saw me vulnerable and decided to dogpile on me with all this bullshit, are feeling pain that they can't express, just so they can understand what they do to people. And it like really frustrates me, like, 'cause I had my surgery during Pride Month, because I was gonna be like, yay, gay, but it was like more so of this like recognition now that like pride is in place because it is so painful to be queer. It's so punishable. It's not safe. Because I'm sure most of the people attacked me either because they thought I was having like gender affirming surgery or some shit. And yeah, it was very affirming to me to not be getting killed by fibroids. And the only way I could actually action that surgery was to almost be getting killed by fibroids and then also be trans, which is a kind of crazy combo wombo, honestly. Like, because it almost felt like more of a punishment than like a relief. Yeah. And then there's it being 3 years later, but like still being seriously disabled by the experience, right? And not for lack of trying, not for lack of trying at all. And it's like one of those things too, where it's like I want to, like, I could definitely, yeah, I really can't even speak. Like, there's a medical abuse and neglect that happened at my surgery, and then there was the persistent, consistent, like, medical gaslighting and impotence and um, malpractice that continued through all of my stages of recovery. And I'm just now starting to get to a point um, where my doctors are like helping me. As a part of my abuse was that like um, my abusers were turning my family against my therapists and telling people that I didn't need mobility devices to walk. And that fucked me up. Making sure that I couldn't go to my physical therapist. And then when I did get the chance to go, it's like, oh, well, if you were really sick, why didn't you go to your physical therapist? So it's a new start here. And it's a really refreshing thing that the doctors are looking at me and they're like, you poor thing. Let's see what we can do for you. Or that's horrible. What can we do for you? Instead of like, why wasn't this done already? But it's like the emotional scars of that. I don't think I could fully articulate the memories, flashbacks, feelings, emotions, not to mention the spiritual alignments that came to me when the only thing that was able to help me was like literal, intangible energy, bro. And what hurts the most too is like all the people who wanted to help me who couldn't because they were so disempowered by the society themselves. And then the real fucked up thing is this feeling that like I'm lucky because other people in my situation straight up died on the streets with no one giving a fuck about them. Other people do not have this opportunity to rebuild their lives like I do. They don't have the luxury of being furious because they're fucking dead. And then there's this other more sinister thing that I know that there was some weirdo bitches doing heebie jeebies all over my goddamn family line. And if I'm the only person who has the awareness and capacity and power to speak over this and get justice for this, Lord knows Pride Month is going to be the last month I shut up about this shit.